We know this.
Meeting will come to order, please. Notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Would you please take a second, turn off electronic equipment as we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Johanna, call the roll, please.
Mayor Becker?
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg?
I'm here.
As there are no special items for discussion, we'll go right to department head reports. Chief Adams, why don't you start?
All right, Mayor, thank you. It's been pretty quiet in the fire department this past week, so other than we're preparing for the summer season and getting ready with the beach patrol, everything else is good in the fire department. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Lisa?
Everything is good in finance. Thank you.
Won't be early. Miles?
Recreation, we're good. We're accepting registrations for all our summer programs. Tennis courts will open next weekend, Friday of next weekend, and it'll be open weekends until mid-June. We're wrapping up our adult basketball leagues. We just ran a successful New York City trip this past weekend, sold-out trip. The pickleball courts, as Ed said, the blacktop is done, so we'll paint temporary lines, so there'll be 6 courts next weekend, and then the permanent courts will be ready for hopefully 4th of July. So that's what's going on in recreation.
Thank you. Chief?
As previously reported before, you're aware we complete all the logistical stuff for accreditation once again. And I was notified today that our accreditation hearing, which is the final phase, is on June 13th. So I have nothing but faith that that's going to go very well, as it did last time, and we'll be done with accreditation again for the next 3 years. Other than that, everything's great.
Good job, Chief. Mr. Deeney?
I was just given this document right before I came over here today, and I just opened it. The library board met this morning, and we've been working with them, specifically Joanne Ciotta, with regard to the possibility of them joining the JIF formally and being able to get their insurance through the JIF. And they passed a resolution earlier today asking the city of Margate for permission, so to speak, to be part of the city, which they are, and to be able to use the JIF fund as for insurance purposes. I'll review it in more detail, but if you recall, you passed a history resolution earlier this year, a couple of weeks ago, kind of outlining the history of the library, and there was research done we put everything in there that we could find on the whole history of the library. And that was done March 7th. And it appears that we're going to be able to save about $15,000 for the library by doing the insurance that way. And this follows Lisa's recommendation a year or two ago, where we started collecting from the library for insurances that we were paying on their behalf, and of course that got their attention that they had to start paying, and now we're going to be able to pay, they're going to be able to pay less, which is really not the city, but it's the city taxpayers, and it's all part of working together in partnership. And so I want to report that to you, number one, see if you had any negative comments toward this, which I don't think you will. And if we require something more formal, we'll have to put it on a future agenda. But if not, I'd like your affirmation that this is fine for them to be part of the JIF for the purposes of getting insurance and saving approximately $15,000.
I think it's great, but I think you should put it on, that's my opinion, we should put it on the agenda so
More
historically somebody looking back will know that it's done.
All right, I'll follow through on that, but thanks.
Anything else, Rich?
Lisa didn't mention it, but she and I met with the auditor today, Bob Swisher, and he's basically finished the audit. He's waiting for some information which is required information from the state. The state has to put out information relative to liabilities for pension purposes. They haven't put it out for any of the towns, so we're in the same boat as everybody else. But as soon as that comes in, which is expected in a couple of weeks, we should have our audit completed. There are no formal comments in our audit, which is a congratulations to all of the people at this table, but it's most especially Lisa. When that audit comes in, which will be 3 or 4 weeks, I'll arrange with Bob Swisher to come here and make a presentation. He said he'd be willing to do that, and we've done that traditionally, so I think we should continue that. And then you'll ultimately have to pass a resolution that you've reviewed it and you understand it. But from everything that I heard this morning, and Lisa's gone through it, a draft of it previously, it's an excellent audit. I think that's all I have. Well, the only other thing I have is I'd like, after we finish going around the table and see what Roger might have to say relative to ice cream bids. I was just handed that as I walked out the door too, a second person who's actually interested now, which are the same two that traditionally have bid in the past, neither of whom bid, but they've now expressed an interest in maybe still doing the ice cream in a negotiated fashion. So if Roger confirms that when we go around, I'd just like a reassurance again that we can negotiate with each of those two people and make a firm recommendation to you as quickly as possible. And my objective would be to try to do it, even though it's not a business meeting on Tuesday, we can conduct business on Tuesday. And so I'd like to be able to have some kind of a decision made on Tuesday so we can get these ice cream people out in the street and out on the beach and start selling ice cream. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Ed, do you have anything?
Nothing to add. I'm good.
Thank you. Roger?
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. In regard to planning, working with the planning board on making some minor zoning ordinance changes. And last July, when this board passed the ordinance revising our flood damage prevention ordinance, switching to one map, it's been working out fairly well. It's a lot easier using one map instead of 2 or 3. So that's going extremely well. In zoning, receiving, people are coming down, so people are realizing that, hey, there's a fence that was there today that wasn't there last week or last year. So we get a lot of complaints about unpermitted work, but I'd have to say the volume of that has been down compared to years past. I can't explain it other than whatever. In regard to purchasing, we are seeking proposals for the ice cream vending, as Rich mentioned. We received 2 or 3. We have the right under purchasing law to negotiate with bidders to get a price. I'll talk to Rich after that about the amounts that we want to negotiate. But we are running out of time, and I think we owe it to the citizens and our visitors in Margate to get something under contract pretty soon. That's pretty much it for now.
Thank you, Roger. Jim?
Mayor,
You may.
question. For Roger, I know you've mentioned it before. We have residents here. The minor changes in zoning consist of?
Well, the one big one is like some of the definitions of building coverage, where it's unclear how it reads, but how I've been enforcing it is how it should be read. So we actually reduce some building coverage, because how it's written. It's the perimeter around the foundation is your building coverage, but doesn't include overhangs and other things that weren't. It's not an aggregate. It should be an aggregate.
Okay.
Some other minor items.
Okay, thank you.
We're also talking about maybe reducing building coverage.
Okay.
Thanks, Roger. Jim?
I want to wish congratulations to Mike, Maury, and John on winning the election. Good luck to you guys, and Margate will be served 4 more years by you guys. good luck. The demo moratorium is June 15th, that's a Saturday. I think we're going to move to have those guys completely have their demolitions done by that Friday, which would be the 14th. There will be no exceptions moving forward with them, because they always came in at the 11th hour, wanted to demo a property and say, we'll have it down by Monday or Tuesday. I think we're just going to cut it off at the 14th. If they're not done, then they'll just have to start up on September 15th. And then there's no more coming to you guys and saying, hey, we need to demo this structure moving into another week like we've had in the past few years. We've had some movement on Exeter Court. I think that's going to be done soon, finally. And then Thurlow Avenue may be a done deal. So there's our two major problems, and the only ones left is the Mansfield Atlantic. And I don't know, I can't figure that one out, but the court is constantly issuing tickets, and we're moving forward with that one also. Anybody have any questions?
I have none. John, Marty? Thank you, Jim. Frank?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, we had the citywide cleanup. Everything went well that weekend, and the amount of cleanup we did was very low compared to other years. This Saturday evening, there's going to be the bonfire on the beach with the Margate Mothers Club, with Public Works and the Fire Department. Myself and Chief Adams been talking about it. We have everything scheduled, and hopefully it'll be nice weather for them. The fountains will be on this week on the Parkway. The streetscapes will be done with the baskets hanging, and we're going to our summer schedule next weekend, which means 9 to 10 of Public Works employees will be working Saturday and Sunday, so we do not have any overtime. And if you look around at some of our playgrounds, some of the equipment is really rusted out. We pulled a few pieces already, actually a pretty big one today. And I have gotten some prices on replacing some of this equipment, and I'll be talking to Rich, and maybe we could put it on capital improvement. That's all I have.
Thank you, Frank. Scott?
Pretty quiet, Mayor. Really don't have much to report, although I will have some suggestions on some of those minor zoning changes as well. I know some of my things that pointed out, driveway widths, or governor strips. Also, we're going to work on an ordinance now, as I understand. We do want to have water poured on demolition sites to cut down our dust. So I should have something for that for our next meeting.
Good job. Thank you. Marty?
So I always wanted to sell ice cream. You can't sell a kid a bad ice cream. He's got to be happy. So what I want to do is volunteer that if the city will buy the ice cream, I will go out and sell it on my free time.
I'm in.
Unlimited sunblock.
So I hope that this works out for us. We really need to get that going. Thank you. I have nothing else.
John?
Nothing else, Mayor, I'm good.
I have nothing either. This is the end of our term. I want to thank everybody for the opportunity and for your cooperation. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So
No
moved.
public comments. Excuse me. Whoa.
yeah.
I'm really trying to. John just had a stroke. Wasn't intentional, John. You know.
I deserve one.
Is there any public comment? Is there any?
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the three amigos for your victory. That was one of the. I'm not a real fan of movies, but I really like that movie. And I'm trying to. There's three amigos, and there's Ned, and then there's Dusty Bottoms. Okay, but I can't remember the third amigo. It was Steve Martin, but I think that you're more like Ned. Lucky Day? Lucky Day. Okay, well, I would say that you're Ned, you're Lucky Day, and you're Dusty Bottoms. Okay? And I also, I would like to comment that when I was about 19 years old, I sold ice cream on the beach in Atlantic City, and oh my God, it was so hard. You had to carry the thing on your shoulder. Oh my God, I mean, really difficult. I mean, it's a little.
I thought you were gonna volunteer to be, work for Mr. Plummer.
Not carrying.
You do the work and he'll
Let's not
take
get
the
carried
money.
away, Scott. I guess pushing it's better, but boy, that is hard work. I mean, that is brutally hard work, you know. But anyhow, I'd just like to congratulate the three guys and, you know, my advice is do what's good for Margate. Keep doing what you're doing and do, number one, what's good for Margate. And, you know, parking, and I think the Bayfront's a good idea, so that's all I have to say. And again, congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. Any other public comment? John?
No, thank you.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to make a motion, we close public comment.
I'll second it.
What took you so long?
Mayor Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes,
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker.
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll take a short 5-minute break and reconvene.